Hey gang, welcome to Dr. Frank's Finance World. I am Dr. Frank the Bank, and we'll be going over time value money part 5. This is the cash flow function of the calculator, which is going to be different than the other one before. We've been working on time value money, which is these keys right here. But when the payment becomes something other than constant, the only thing you can use is this cash flow function right here. And that's what we'll be working on today. So in these time periods, you actually have to use the time value money function or you're going to have a problem. It's good to clear the calculator a different way as well, and we'll talk about that. Basically, you'll be doing it as a, let's get that set up. You'll be clearing the calculator using the bottom left-hand key, the clear work key, and it's on the bottom left, it's down here. So when we're in the cash flow function up here, you're in the cash flow, you'll be starting with CF0, but you cannot clear that function of the calculator until you're actually inside the cash flow mode. So when you hit the cash flow and then hit the second clear work, you'll actually be getting rid of everything that's inside of these keys. And that's important or you won't get the right answer. So let's look at a cash flow function problem. Walt is evaluating an investment which will provide the following cash flow returns for these years out here. Each of the following years you'll be looking at, in year 1 you'll be getting $12,500, in year 2 $10,000, year 3 $7,500, year 4 $5,000, year 5 $2,500, and by the time you get to year 6 you get nothing. But there is another one in year 7 of $12,500. So first things first, get into the cash flow function of your calculator, and then you're going to have to clear it out. So I'm going to pull that up again here, and I'm going to move it over here so you can see it. All right, so I'm hitting the cash flow function, and I've already cleared it out, you can see, and there is nothing at CF0. To get down to cash flow 1, you hit the down key. And in this case, it says C01 is $12,500. And we will enter that. And you'll see now it says that's in the first cash flow. And every single one of these will have a frequency. Sometimes you'll have a consistent cash flow over a period of time, and rather than just putting in the same cash flow again and again and again, it helps to actually hit a frequency as opposed to doing that. However, all of these are a frequency of 1, so it's coded to 1, so all we need to do is hit the down button and we go to C02. In this case, it's $10,000, and I enter that with a frequency of the second cash flow of 1. And then I will go down to the third cash flow, which is $7,500. And I enter that with a frequency of 1. The fourth cash flow is going to be $5,000. And that will also have a frequency of 1. The fifth cash flow will be $2,500. Enter that. That also has a frequency of 1. And I go down, and actually to get to 7, I have to enter 6 as a 0. So I'm going to enter that with a frequency of 1, and then cash flow 7 will be $12,500. And I enter that, and it's automatically going to have a frequency of 1. But so I'm done putting in the cash flows. I want to know what they're worth at this given point in time, and it's expecting an annual rate of 9%. So once I have the cash flows in, I'm going to hit the net present value key. I'm going to enter the 9% and then hit the down button and the top button to compute. And I have $37,680.94, or approximately $681. So that's how we put in the cash flow function of the calculator when we're using that. So looking at another problem, Eleanor is evaluating an investment that will provide the following returns at the end of each of the following years. 1 through 10 is $12,500. Year 11 is $10,000. I'm sorry, year 11 is $10,000. And then year 12 and 13, there is $10,000. There's nothing else out there. So anyway, so when we put this in the calculator, I'm going to pull up the calculator again. I still have what was in there before. So to clear it out, I'm going to put second clear work. And now I'm starting all over again. So cash flow second clear work, here I am. And cash flow 1 is $12,500. But instead of a frequency of 1, we're going to put in a frequency of 10 because it occurs 10 years in a row. Then the next cash flow is actually $10,000 for year 11 it would be. So I'm putting in $10,000. And in this problem, that occurred, I'm entering it, that occurs once. I could put it in more, but then the last 2 years are also $10,000. I could have combined these and put them in as a frequency of 3, but just to show you, for years 12 and 13 is 10,000 as well. So I put in 10,000, enter it. In the last 2 years is a frequency of 2. So I enter that. Now I have all the cash flows in, and if I want to get the present value of these at an interest rate of 9%, I enter that, and I come down, and those cash flows are worth $10,692. That doesn't make any sense. Let me go back and check this out. So when you make have a problem like this, let me go back and see what the I put in. Well, it was 9%. So if I go look at it again, I had cash flow 1. Oh, it didn't put it in there. 12,500. See, they're still in there, so I can go put it in again, and I can enter that for a frequency of 10. Then I can check that cash flow 2 is 10,000 for a frequency of 1, and cash flow 3 was 10,000 for a frequency of 2. See, it's easy to go back and check your work. Now when I go to net present value with a 9%, I can come down and compute it, and I get the actual answer, which is $90,913. So it's kind of good I made that mistake, but you can go in and see that anytime you want, you can check out what cash flows you actually put in and make sure that you have the proper ones in when you're checking on the problems, at least until you clear out the problem. Let's check out more. I guess that's all for now. Sorry. Be sure to subscribe and get notifications. Different because the initial cash flows are typically negative. We're going to be getting to that when we do net present value. In this case, all we're doing is combining cash flows together. When we get to net present value, we will be using the exact same keys, exact same functions, except we will be putting in an initial cash flow that is typically negative, and because of that, it will have an internal rate of return. Anyway, so what are you netting out when you get to that? The cash flows were all brought together and brought back through time I, and that's why they call it net present value without an initial cash flow. You're simply bringing them all back through time.